Blake Lively's lawsuit took a brutal turn when Judge Steve Kim openly questioned the legitimacy of her entire case and then publicly humiliated her latest legal move. Blake had filed a motion to compel documents from the Wayfair parties, demanding they be handed over within 10 days, as if she were ordering express shipping from Amazon. But the judge wasn't buying it. Not only did he deny her motion, he essentially mocked it in his ruling, calling her demands unripe, a polite but firm legal smackdown. The sarcasm in his wording made it clear. This isn't Blake's Instagram story, it's a federal courtroom, and her Hollywood status doesn't hold weight here. To make matters worse, the documents she was demanding had already been agreed to be produced by July 1st, making her request not only unnecessary but desperate and performative. The judge's takedown set the tone for what would become a full-scale unraveling of Blake's credibility, exposing her as a celebrity trying to play lawyer, and failing miserably. As Blake's case spirals, her legal team is now being exposed for sheer disorganization and panic. In a move that stunned legal observers, Blake filed the exact same motion in both California and New York courts, simultaneously. This desperate legal stunt made her team look frantic, like they were throwing legal filings around hoping something would stick. But it backfired spectacularly. The California judge swiftly shut her down and refused to transfer the case back to New York, essentially telling her she didn't even understand how jurisdiction works. This blunder didn't just waste time, it showcased how sloppy and contradictory Blake's legal strategy truly is. Instead of showing strength, her legal moves are screaming disarray, and the courts are taking notice. Blake Lively's entire case is now hanging by a thread, and the so-called evidence she's relying on is at the center of a growing scandal. The documents she submitted, allegedly obtained from Joan Works, are missing something critical: metadata. In the legal world, metadata is the digital fingerprint that proves when a file was created, edited, and sourced. Without it, the documents are essentially unverifiable. This shocking oversight raises major red flags, with Wayfair's legal team already hinting at possible evidence tampering. Even worse, if metadata were to show that Blake received these documents before the official subpoena in October 2024, it could mean she illegally obtained them, turning her into the very kind of bad actor she's accusing others of being. Blake, of course, deflects blame onto Joan Works, claiming they handed over incomplete files. But the judges aren't buying the excuses anymore, and the lack of authenticity could be the fatal flaw that collapses her case entirely. In one of the most shocking revelations yet, Blake Lively is now being accused of using a shell company, Vanzin Inc., to secretly manipulate the legal system. Allegedly, Vanzin filed a completely fake lawsuit, not to win anything, but to seize phones and private data from individuals tied to Blake's feud. The moment they got what they wanted, the case was quietly dropped like it never happened. But now, the stunt is catching up to her. The court ordered Vanzin to reveal its shareholder information by June 24, 2025. And they did nothing. Total silence. Legal experts and insiders suspect that Vanzin is just a front, controlled by Blake and possibly Ryan Reynolds, created to run covert operations behind the scenes. Even worse, Jennifer Abel's legal team now believes Vanzin was used to sidestep discovery rules and execute a smear campaign against Wayfair. The fact that Blake's team is now stonewalling and refusing to provide key documents makes it look even more suspicious. What was meant to be a hidden move is now center stage, and it's unraveling fast. Just when Blake Lively's team thought it couldn't get worse, one of her key allies flipped: Daily Mail reporter James Vushka. Originally, Vushka submitted a sworn statement downplaying PR fixer Lizzie Sloan's role in the smear campaign against Justin Baldoni. But now, the twist is straight out of a movie. Vushka fired the lawyers provided by the Daily Mail and brought in a criminal defense attorney, signaling serious legal fear. Think perjury and obstruction of justice. Why the panic? Because damning text messages surfaced, showing Vushka privately called Sloan a liar, directly contradicting his court statement. The fallout was so severe that Vushka has been granted whistleblower protection, a move that all but confirms there's a major cover-up unfolding. This flip doesn't just damage Blake's credibility, it threatens to burn down her entire case, exposing the PR manipulation that fueled her legal campaign. With her own witness now protected by immunity and ready to spill everything, Blake's once tightly controlled narrative is collapsing from the inside out. While Blake Lively hides from depositions and dodges court accountability, her husband Ryan Reynolds has entered the spotlight, and not in a good way. Instead of addressing the legal firestorm, Ryan is parading across magazine covers, including a high-profile Time 100 feature, painting himself as a selfless business icon. But the public isn't buying the act. As Blake's legal disaster deepens, Ryan's PR campaign feels painfully tone-deaf. with critics slamming him for using the scandal to boost visibility for his brand, Maximum Effort. Even more hypocritical, Ryan's recent interviews about accountability, while he's married to someone accused of manipulating evidence and evading subpoenas. He's also been caught shutting down comment sections and deleting backlash, proving that public opinion does matter to him, despite his tough talk. Their carefully curated golden couple image is cracking fast, and Ryan's desperate attempts to keep the facade intact are only fueling the public skepticism. What once seemed like Hollywood's most polished duo is now looking like a calculated PR machine spinning wildly out of control. In a move that shocked even seasoned legal analysts, Blake Lively skipped her court-ordered deposition, scheduled just 2 days before this video dropped. This wasn't optional, it was a legally required step in the discovery process, with a hard deadline of August 14, 2025. Her no-show didn't just look bad, it screamed evasion and sent a clear signal that Blake may be hiding something damaging. For someone who once loudly celebrated the dismissal of Baldoni's previous lawsuit on social media, her current radio silence is deafening. Suddenly, the woman who once played the strong, independent victim is nowhere to be found when it's time to face the facts. Legal experts warn that failing to appear could trigger sanctions, legal penalties, and more intense scrutiny from the court. And with her credibility already under fire due to fake filings and shaky evidence, this no-show only deepens the suspicion that Blake's entire legal strategy is built on smoke and mirrors. As Blake Lively's legal troubles explode, her personal brand is tanking just as fast. Her latest business venture, Blake Brown, once hyped as the next big celebrity empire, is now reportedly gathering dust on clearance shelves in New York. The flop is more than just a failed product, it's a symbol of a crumbling public image. Consumers and brands alike are backing away, seeing through the perfectly curated persona she's projected for years. The once relatable starlet is now viewed as calculated, evasive, and manipulative, qualities that don't sell lifestyle products. With every legal filing, skipped deposition, and fake lawsuit revelation, Blake's credibility sinks further. Even her husband Ryan's attempts to spotlight their golden couple status can't save her brand from PR freefall. The public isn't interested in lip gloss and feel-good messaging from someone embroiled in scandal. Blake Brown's failure is more than just a business misstep. It's a warning shot that her Hollywood empire is no longer untouchable. The courtroom drama surrounding Blake Lively has officially reached a tipping point, and the judges are no longer playing along. After months of legal grandstanding, PR spin, and media manipulation, Blake's case is now being systematically dismantled by the very courts she tried to weaponize. Magistrate Judge Steve Kim didn't just reject her recent motions, he outright mocked them, accusing Blake of exaggerating delays, twisting facts, and manipulating deadlines in an attempt to gain leverage. His ruling made one thing crystal clear: this courtroom isn't buying the fairy tale Blake's trying to sell. Even more devastating is what's happening behind the scenes. Another judge, Judge Lyman, is reportedly considering dismissing major parts of Blake's case, especially targeting key defendant Jed Wallace. Wallace was the central figure in Blake's narrative, the supposed architect behind the alleged digital smear campaign. But if he's removed from the case for lack of jurisdiction, it doesn't just weaken her lawsuit, it obliterates its core foundation. Without him, Blake's entire theory of a coordinated conspiracy falls apart. Legal analysts, including retired Judge Liz, have gone public with scathing critiques. On her YouTube channel, she slammed the case as unconstitutional under California law, arguing that the courts are bending over backward to protect false accusers like Blake while gagging the real victims, namely Justin Baldoni. That kind of criticism from a former judge is not just commentary. It's a red flag. And it's not just one mistake that's dragging Blake down. Judges have highlighted a pattern of misconduct, filing duplicate motions in different states, relying on unauthenticated documents without metadata, and failing to follow jurisdictional protocol. Her legal filings are being described as contradictory, disorganized, and borderline amateur, which only fuels the perception that Blake is more concerned with optics than legal accuracy. Perhaps most telling is the tone shift inside the courtroom itself. In the early stages, Blake's legal team carried themselves with Hollywood-style confidence, assuming her fame would shield her. But that confidence has crumbled. Judges are growing increasingly impatient, and the tone of recent rulings shows they're fed up with the smoke and mirrors. Blake's team is now scrambling to hold on to whatever scraps of credibility remain, but it may be too late. The court is setting the record straight. Celebrity status doesn't override truth, evidence, and legal procedure. And if Judge Lyman moves forward with dismissing Wallace, it will send a loud message that Blake's lawsuit isn't just flawed, It's collapsing under the weight of its own contradictions. Blake Lively's carefully crafted Hollywood persona is in full collapse, and it's happening in real time. What was once a seemingly untouchable image of the wholesome, relatable girl next door with a perfect marriage is now unraveling under the weight of lawsuits, legal blunders, and failed PR tactics. Her brand, her credibility, and even her fan base are slipping away with each new revelation. This isn't just a courtroom disaster, it's a full-blown identity crisis for a woman who spent years curating every interview, red carpet moment, and Instagram post to perfection. But now, brands are backing away, fans are turning skeptical, and even Hollywood insiders are whispering what the public already suspects. Blake's image was more illusion than reality. Her once flawless narrative has been exposed as a carefully controlled PR campaign fueled by manipulation, legal stunts, and backdoor strategies. Meanwhile, Ryan Reynolds' attempts to plaster on a smile and pretend everything is fine are only amplifying the hypocrisy. His Time 100 cover and accountability speeches fall flat next to the mountain of evidence pointing to deception and dodging from his own household. The couple's once admired status is beginning to look more like a manufactured distraction than a genuine partnership. And now the backlash isn't just from Twitter trolls or tabloid readers, it's from legal experts, journalists, former fans, and even judges. The failure of her business line, Blake Brown, is symbolic of the broader collapse. Her influence, once powerful, is fading fast. With whistleblowers flipping, court orders piling up, deposition deadlines missed, and shell companies exposed, Blake is no longer in control of the story. The narrative she worked so hard to dominate is now being written by the courts, the evidence, and the very people she tried to silence. And no carefully posed photo, no scripted interview, and no celebrity endorsement can glue this empire back together. Blake Lively's downfall isn't just a legal defeat, it's a stunning Hollywood implosion. And from the looks of it, we're only watching the beginning.